Welcome to Six Figs. I'm Kyle, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about DFINITY's internet computer and the ecosystem. It's absolutely banging, and these are the projects I think will do well going into this next bull run. We'll start off with the charts, and then I'll cover some of these projects as well. Big shout out to all the sponsors of today's video. The markets are kind of in a dump right now. Why is this? It's because there's lots of uncertainty in the markets, especially when it comes down to rate cuts and things like that. I think that everybody is counting on them in September. However, it's kind of unclear where things will actually land. Jay Powell came out last week saying, yeah, I think it could work, but, I don't know. Are we going to have to wait another 2 months for the next FOMC meeting? Internet computer, guys, this is a 3-day chart. And this is what I mean by the markets are absolutely hinging. And really, when you look at this gigantic, beautiful falling wedge, it's one of my favorite patterns. I'm getting excited just talking about it. ICP is in a very interesting place. We've got several harmonic patterns. There's 3 of them. 2 of them which will boost the price up well around $15 to $25. 1 will dump the price down to $3. The markets are hinging, like I said. I think if we start to see no rate cuts in September, people might start dumping the bags and prep for a buyback opportunity at lower prices. Because in 2 months from September 17th? That puts us at November 17th. That might be when the next FOMC meeting is. People might start buying back in then. So when we look at this is a tremendous, tremendous falling wedge. Man, I would love to see this thing execute. But it is what it is. So low end here, guys, I'm looking at like $3. High end, 17 to 23, 24 bucks. I think that if we see some rate cuts, we're going to see a lot of people come up with a lot of extra cash as they start to refinance their houses, get lower rates on everything. It gives people more spending power than they already have. Now, we're going to kick off with Taco DAO, and this is an S&P style portfolio project on the internet computer. If you guys are interested in this, we'll be talking about it here in just a second. But this project is doing something that I've never seen done in crypto. And really, they are like an S&P 500, where they do exceptional due diligence on projects and things like that. They vote, the community votes whether or not to add it to the portfolio. The rest is history. So we're looking at the Taco token. There's several things going for the Taco token right now. And this is an 8-hour chart. The reason I chose an 8-hour chart for this is because we can see this 200 moving average, which is very important to know where this thing is at all times. We're seeing a few things here. We're seeing kind of like this descending triangle on the RSI, which is pretty bullish because there's really nowhere left for price action to go. We can see that there is something that exists here. You could almost argue that there could be a quasi falling wedge here as well, possibly. But I do think that this thing's coiling up. And once we break this line of resistance, we're going to start exploring and testing new price tags. And really, when you look at the last few weeks going into mid-August, we're seeing this great falling wedge. And on this 8-hour chart, we're seeing the potential of a death cross. And why is this important for the Taco DAO Taco price? Well, death crosses, especially on shorter time frame, it doesn't matter actually what time frame. But you hear of golden cross, you hear of death cross, etc. 50% of the time, they do the exact opposite that you would think. So a lot of times you'll see the price start pumping on pending news of a death cross. It's just the way it works. It's going to be very interesting. I do think that we've got this tremendous inverse head and shoulders, and I do think that Taco DAO is getting ready to potentially full send, and I do think that there is a chance for this thing to rip up to the 67 to 70 cent level once the cards play out. So this is one of these projects that I'm involved with. They're sponsored the channel, and I'm really bullish on their vision. I absolutely love what they're doing. Clown Project, guys, is another project that I think is very good. And they have created this insane application, which I'll show you guys in just a second, which basically hands power over to the community to make money by things they're already doing, such as posting on X. I'll show you an example of that in a second. But we've got a very great cup and handle here, and we saw the price absolutely ripped. Right now, price never came back. When this thing initially ripped off, price never came back down to test this upper trend line of the cup. So now we're starting to see on this daily chart, price action is coming down, and you can see this little wick on the bottom of this daily candle. You can see the bears are trying to drag the price back down to this resistance level here. But the bulls are buying it back up, and there is, I'm not sure when this candle is going to close. The chart's not saying that. But it'll be interesting to see when this candle closes, what happens next. So I do think that right now, Clown has some great things going for him. And whether or not you're a project on the internet computer, you can use Clown to your advantage. Like, you need to advertise something on the cheap, and the community gets to make money with you and cheer you on. Like, I'm going to show you guys in just a second. EXE, I wanted to cover this because I haven't really covered EXE, and I'm a fan of the Shill Gates baby. He's one of these OG developers in the IC, and we're seeing a very nice symmetrical triangle squeeze that's happening. So I do think that this thing's getting ready to move. And we're going to have to see which way this thing goes. Hopefully it's back up. So this is an interesting project, to say the least. We'll cover this a little bit more later on. And another project I just kind of wanted to cover because I see a lot of people buzzing about Cloud. I do know that there's a gentleman named Bobby O that's leading the Cloud project, as far as I know. And this thing seems to be in a very nice uptrend. Now, I threw up this Fibonacci. Fibonacci channel. Excuse me, I'm parched. All right, now I'm re-energized like that Energizer Bunny baby, and we're looking at the daily chart. You could maybe even argue that there was a little too much FOMO around June, but you could almost argue that there could be a potential cup and handle or something like that occurring here. Oh, excuse me. But in reality, I do think that there is a good chance that you could possibly see some sort of a cup and handle here to maybe get a retest of this 0.008 cent-ish level, roughly a 2x. I'm going to keep my eye on this one. We're seeing somewhat of a bull hammer form, which is a candlestick, and basically a bull hammer is when the candlestick looks like a hammer. This is a pretty typical candle to see, and oftentimes it will signal a reversal. Here is an example of it right here, maybe even right here. I'd like to see that wick a little bit lower, but this thing really seems to be playing into these Fibonacci channel lines very nicely. I'm going to keep my eye on it. DFINITY, folks, and we're going to be looking at Caffeine AI. Now, if you're in Web3 and you want to actually build stuff, but you don't know how, you don't have the capital to hire developers, you don't have whatever, like, you guys, just take one look at Caffeine AI. And this is an application which I'm going to I've got it loaded up on my phone as well. And I'm going to show you guys how easy it is. I'm going to say, build me an encrypted user-to-user chat application. Boom. Okay, you should see it pop up on the screen. All right. Yes. Okay. It's asking me if I want users to log in with the internet identity, and should messages be encrypted so only the sender and recipient can read them. Okay, so now this thing is spouting off and it's going to work, and it's building me an application that allows me to do this. And we're going to check up on this in just a second to see the progress that it's made. Another project that I think is absolutely utilizing the technology of the internet computer appropriately, and it exceeds my expectations, is blockminer.fun. Bitcoin runes, guys. This is huge in Asia right now. Absolutely huge in Asia. And Blockminer is absolutely like going parabolic. Blockminer allows users to mine, but without all of the expensive like GPUs and ASIC mining rigs and things like that cost thousands and thousands of dollars. This allows actual computation to happen in the canisters on the back end on the internet computer. So this is absolutely crazy. It's like you're just paying for energy, which you would be paying for already anyways, if you owned ASICs or all these rigs or anything like that. So, I mean, I'm super bullish on them. And really, when it comes down to it, I have launched with William Laurent a meme coin called Sushi Saneko, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. We just got our first injection of liquidity from Blockminer. It's $261. We're working on upping that. You know, these things take time. So it is what it is. I've got several different accounts mining myself because eventually I would like to incorporate Saneko with projects that like I'm doing. So it is what it is. Now the Clown app, like I was just telling you guys, it doesn't matter if you're internet computer or not. The Clown app will allow you to basically hire the community members to shill your projects or important messages, things like that. Basically, anybody can come in here and they can just put up like Bitcoin or ICP. And what it does is it allows the community members to basically follow certain metrics and things like that according to the campaign. So like if the campaign, for example, let's say Clown says, hey, we want you guys to promote this post. You need to add this, this, and this into the X post, and boom, you'll get credit. Now, I did this, and guys, I made like $2 off of like 2 simple posts almost 6 days ago. While that doesn't seem like a lot, this can add up over time. And if you're not making money on X by posting about things that you normally would be, like, you might as well just sign up for this to reap the rewards. And really everyone wins when we're all making money together. So this goes a long way, especially in countries where, people might be able to get a significant social media following, but the cost of living is very low. Right now on Clown, you could pretty much make like a couple $100 a day, $164 a day if you just hammered this super hard. So big shout out to these guys. We'll be doing more work with Clown here. I'll have some more videos out on Clown as well. Taco Jack from Taco DAO. I just dropped an insane video on with Taco Jack where he sits down with me and explains all the crazy features that he's got coming up with Taco DAO, which is, like I said, the S&P 500 of crypto. This post caught me here because Igito Vel, I know there are some people who follow me who have millions of ICP. If I had 1 million ICP, I wouldn't diversify. I would pick a single idea, a single project, doc, super small team, max 4 people. I mean, everybody's risk tolerance is different, but, this man's got some pretty big conviction about, where he's going to put his money. And he also created the graphics and stuff like that. He designed all the graphics for Taco DAO. So this was cool to see. But Taco DAO, guys, follow these guys at Taco DAO ICP on X. And really, you can see how this portfolio is starting to shape up. They've recently added Gold DAO. They've recently added Chat, few others here. And really, once these tokens take off, obviously the treasury will sell at some point for hopefully obscene profits. And hopefully the holders of Taco DAO can make obscene profits. It just seems to me like this is a great project where you can kind of diversify your risk, especially since they do all these crazy due diligence reports on all the projects that they add beforehand. This is an insane amount of due diligence here, guys. If you sat down and tried to do this much due diligence, it would take you all weekend long to come up with all this stuff. And here they've got it for free for anyone to digest. It's very fair and straightforward. Let's dip back to Caffeine AI and see what it developed for me. Okay, so it's telling me to log in. All right, I'm going to have to blur this stuff out. It's redirecting me to the app. Okay. Oh, God. There we go. Privacy blur. I'm just going to go 6 figs. Boom. Okay. Now, obviously, I don't have anyone to test this with, but it appears that it should work. You just enter the recipient's principal ID and type your message and click send. So you guys see how easy this is. And this would have cost thousands and thousands of dollars to even come close to creating anything like this. I guarantee you. So with that said, this is very impressive. I'm going to look into maybe, bringing this thing to life for users to use. But hit me up, guys. If you like this technical analysis, if you like this overview on these projects, hit me up at Real6Fig on X. I'll throw a link to this profile in the description, as well as to all the great projects that I covered in today's video. I love you all, and we'll see you guys on the next video.